The following is an excerpt from my Transformers Cyberverse Chapter 3 Part 2 review. So if you've already seen that, you've already seen this. Of course, you can watch it again. I won't stop you. There is a conspiracy afoot! When you think of Hasbro, what do you think of? No doubt, creative integrity and artistic clarity come to mind, but you are mistaken. They're frauds. They're all frauds. Frauds. In the third season, the Transformers Cyberverse has been stealing some ideas. After 7 years of analyzing season 3 and piecing together clues and theories, I realized it's all connected. These aren't just any ideas they stole, they're my ideas, and I can prove it. But I'll do that later. Okay, so you're probably thinking, oh, a corrupted Allspark?
Shockwave is corrupting it!
Destroying the Allspark?
Destroy the Allspark!
Starscream taking control of the Allspark?
The Allspark! It's inside of him!
What original, fun, zany concepts! These writers are sure wrong. Because if you're foolish enough to have been a longtime fan of this channel, then you might remember episode I think 12 and 13 of my season 4 storyboard series, Allsparkalypse Now, where Megatron sets out to destroy the Allspark, then corrupts the Allspark, all while Starscream has taken control of the Allspark. It's a little fishy.
I am the Allspark! I am the Allspark!
Clearly, the Hasbro higher-ups are watching my high school YouTube fan fictions. Oh, but this isn't all. This isn't all. Okay, so Cyberverse mispronounces Quintesson.
End this Quintesson invasion.
They stress the second syllable, saying it Quintesson.
I'm no Quintesson!
And that's never been the case in Transformers before. But you know where else that happened? My con job storyboard, episode 7 or 8 or something. I think it was 8.
Your EMP. I needed to infiltrate a Quintesson research outpost.
So I forced my government teacher, Mr. Stevens, to voice Lockdown during his prep period. Perfect.
Okay.
And he could not pronounce that word. I was like, Quintesson. He was like,
Quintesson.
and I was like, no, Quintesson.
Quintesson.
So at that point, I was like, you know, these videos get like 300 views each. It's not a big deal. Who cares? So I just let him pronounce it Quintesson. But clearly, that mispronunciation inspired a certain group of writers or voice actors. Or since the voice actors recorded separately and multiple characters pronounced it Quintesson, it must have been the dialogue director who saw it. It's going deeper, it's going deeper. The End of the Universe 4 is the final nail in the coffin. The undeniable, undisputable evidence that Hasbro is ripping off ideas from not only your boy Kian's YouTube channel, alright? But they are hacking the depths of my laptop's hard drive. We need to investigate further. Y'all remember that a Transformers Combaticons story idea I've talked about once or twice? Me neither. But basically, in early 2018, I came up with the idea for a Transformers series centered around heavily fleshed out versions of Onslaught, Brawl, Swindle, Blastoff, and Vortex. A group of unrelated convicts and criminals, or in Vortex's case, an idiot cop who doesn't fully realize what he's wrapped up in. Traveling the galaxy in a post-war world, united under a common goal: to find the missing Megatron and try to re-spark the Great War, which they didn't think ended fairly. They all have their own conflicting motivations for doing this. For example, they all want to find Megatron. Onslaught wants to recruit Megatron to their cause, and Blastoff wants to kill Megatron. I've written a really detailed 42-page pitch bible describing the premise, the characters' personalities, and a springboard for several potential episodes, and the general storyline spanning multiple seasons. I made the free fall animation based on this series concept, more specifically a potential sequence from season 1's finale. But all of their designs have changed since then, and will no doubt continue to evolve in the future. But a major selling point for this series was that it would introduce a bunch of obscure Autobots and Decepticons from past series and comics and put them in the forefront. Why is this relevant? Because Combaticons was gonna be the show to introduce Whirl, Bludgeon, and Tarn, and reintroduce characters like Lugnut, Skybite, and Astrotrain. But Cyberverse had to go and ruin that. And Astrotrain is just too much. I've never been a fan of mass changing, so my vision of Astrotrain was a troop carrier with a really big robot mode. And this big bad boy, he was a bit of a prankster. He was just a big loud jerk who messes with everyone around him, and he was the embodiment of chaotic evil. And guess what? Cyberverse said, "Oh, we'll take that idea, thanks," and snatched that away from me. All right. Well, they had the idea to reintroduce some characters. There's no conspiracy. Well, my friend, this goes just a little deeper. Combaticons isn't the only Transformers concept I've come up with. It's probably my most interesting one, but it's not the only one. In fact, middle school for me was just 3 years of coming up with pitches for Transformers series. And one in particular is particularly relevant to this little investigation. I'll leave the name anonymous for now because that will expose another layer of conspiracy. But this show was set during the Cybertron Great War, its own continuity, its own thing. Middle school Kian was just watching Gotham back when it was masquerading as a good show. It was like, we're gonna be good eventually, and I bought it. And I watched the Penguin do all these sneaky, mischievous things, and I was like, what if that was Starscream? So I just wrote everything Penguin did, hit Control F, replace, made it Starscream, and then I made a Transformers show around it where Starscream starts out as like a common expendable ground seeker, slowly rising through the ranks. He doesn't know Megatron at first. He's manipulating everyone around him, playing both sides, until eventually he has Megatron and Optimus in his back pocket. He's essentially like war profiteering, but profiteering power and leadership. It was a Starscream origin story. And then also, Soundwave and Shockwave would have had a deep personal rivalry, both vying for Megatron's approval, with Shockwave loyal to the Decepticon ideals, and Soundwave loyal to Megatron specifically. But as the series developed, none of these characters were the protagonists. The 3 series leads were Optimus, Hot Rod, and Megatron. And yeah, I spent 5 minutes criticizing the character designs of Cyberverse, but the stuff I make looks like this. The irony is not lost on me. Basically, Optimus takes the reckless punk kiddo Hot Rod under his wing because he sees himself in him or something generic like that and kind of grooms him. But then Megatron and Optimus have an elaborate history, as always, nothing really new in particular. And what I later came to look back at as a stupid idea, Cybertron was evenly divided in half along its axis. There was just trench warfare going around the entire planet and constantly shifting boundary lines, like a planetary turf war.
Half of Cybertron is mine. You and your Autobots stay on your half.
Okay, but that's not all. Because our big Megatron here, he comes out with a matrix of leadership. Wowee, what an idea. Well, guess what, friends? That idea was written by me in my middle school Google Doc in 2013. See, in the season 2 finale of this Hot Rod Optimus Megatron show, Optimus would have died. Surprise, surprise. But Hot Rod would have been groomed up as this potential successor to Optimus. He's really expecting the Matrix here. But the thing is, Megatron's had something of a redemption arc over the season, and Optimus would have given the Matrix to Megatron in a complete subversion of expectations. Optimus ultimately trusts Megatron more to lead their people to a better place, and in Hot Rod's jealousy, he, the protagonist, denied of becoming Rodimus, becomes the villain of the series moving forward, or for a while. It would have been redeemed or whatever, something. So Megatron getting a Matrix, my original bombshell idea I had in middle school ruined, stolen by a Cyberverse. And I promise that while this show seems kind of cool, really the only cool things are what I told you about it. It was a mess. It's a disaster to look at these docs and how unorganized they are since I made it in 7th grade. But anyways, what was the name of this show, you're asking? Nothing other than Transformers Till All Are One. The conspiracy deepens. They've been stealing my ideas since 2018. I did not research the release date when I made the initial recording. I was just going off of my own false memory. Since 2018! I want to apologize to my fans for this misinformation. I know that this has hurt a lot of lives. I want people to stop coming after my family. This was my mistake. Don't blame it on them. I think we as a community just need... Let's explore further. Till All Are One focuses on the Combaticons, who would have been recurring villains in my version of Till All Are One, appearing one episode each, and then not uniting to combine as Bruticus till like the end. But let's re-explore my Combaticons series concept, which also focuses on the Combaticons. I tried thinking of ways to add diversity of personality to this cast of 5, and the most organic way to do that was by gender swapping either Vortex or Blastoff. That was actually in the first ever text I sent to my friend Kian about this idea. Then, as the story developed, I almost wondered if a slight hint of a romantic connection between Onslaught and Blastoff would add to their tension of their recruit/kill Megatron conflict. So I was like, I'm progressive, that's marketable, I made this character a girl. But then comes in Till All Are One, which by coincidence also includes a full-out romance between Onslaught and Blastoff. But do they gender swap Blastoff? No. They just make them gay. So now they're even more progressive than me. So my version is now unprogressive in comparison. Mine's progressive in the 1960s, maybe, but it's nothing compared to this. So now, they're not only stealing my ideas, but they're actively sabotaging my ideas to make them out of date in today's gender-fluid society. I realized only after editing all of that the Hasbro version came 2 years before I made mine, thus completely invalidating everything I just said. In my defense, I didn't read Till All Are One until 2019, so I did have the idea before I read it. Okay, turns out there's no conspiracy. We're good.